guys, it's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a dreary Thursday afternoon. That's a different one for me. We are here today for Paper Pumpkin Live. Very excited. We've got the Inked Occasions. I had it and then it just like fluttered away from me, just like a fleeting thought. So, we are back. You may have caught Chris earlier this morning. We did a little flipper flopper on our classes. She came at you at 10 with, I think it was the In Color launch cards, which were being made live with you and being kitted live with you. So, I mean, it was just like a double whammy of the In Colors for you. So that just wrapped up, and we are back here now then with our Paper Pumpkin class. So, very exciting. I am going to dive right into it because I have to teach aftercare after school today. So I am on a little bit of a tighter than normal time crunch. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Oh, and hello to Mary and Susan and Kelly. So thank you so much for joining and being prompt. You're not going to miss a thing as we dive right in. Goodness. Box is playing a little hard to get. All right, so right off the bat, we've got just absolute beautiful colors, and I really personally love watercolor, and I know alcohol ink is not the same as watercolor, but it does give a really nice, bright, vibrant, vivid, and kind of blendy look to it. So I'm excited about all of that. And look at that! Berry Burst Spot, as well as some really nice sentiments. It does appear as though we have 5 kits left. I'll tell you what the stamps are in just a minute. But if you love the stamps, if you love the cards, and you missed out, reach out to Chris. Contact information is down here. And we can see if we can hook you up with one. So, vibrant fuchsia magenta-y pink tissue paper. That was a stunner as we open the box. And look at these. Wow. And we have gold foil as well. Holy man. These are incredible. I will say, obviously, I'm getting a preview here, but the in-person, like the color, the vibrancy, holy man, is absolutely stunning. So, yes, the pictures are great, but they don't do it justice. Holy man. So, we have full color printed envelopes with printing on the bottom left of each of the envelopes. Thanks for joining, Sue. Of course, you can always catch the replay. Great plan. And then look at this. Gold foil alcohol ink imagery on this card base. So we've got 3 each of 3 cards. Then we have some greeny, pinky tones on this one. This is a little bit more of a muted color palette. Punch those out in a second. There's nothing muted about this one. So we've got, looks like Berry Burst, Melon Mambo, Gorgeous Grape, and maybe Pumpkin Pie. We'll see in just a second when I read off all of the things. Whew! Okay, so we have Big Hugs with gold foil. Punch those out. Oh, and if you tune in with me on the regular not last week, earlier in this week on Tuesday, we had kit class. It was the 3rd of 3 kits for April. And actually, I should point out, yes, it is May 1st today, but this is the April Paper Pumpkin. We just ran out of days in the month to do it. So, this is the April Pumpkin. But anyways, so I was doing the floral bouquet kit on Tuesday, and we didn't get real far into it. We tried, but we were missing the floral wire that was in the kit. It just was not included or not packed or missed or something like that. Either way, so it was not actually even possible to finish up the kit. And Chris did reach out to Stampin' Up, and they are sending replacement wires. So it's great. When they do kits, they have control over the components within the kit. Okay, I am like struggle bussing here. These leaves are very fine, and there's kind of like a texture on the gold foil. So I don't know if that's why I'm struggling more than normal, but I just really don't want to break them, and they're kind of starting to nest into each other. So anyways, we made it through that. But so they are able to send out just the pieces that we were missing, not having to send out the whole kit, which is really nice because otherwise that's a lot of waste. So we'll be able to finish what we need. So I will come back at you with the actual paper bouquet kit, like actually being able to do it. As soon as we get it, we'll be able to schedule when it'll be. I just don't know when we will receive that. So stay tuned. We'll get that caught up later. Okay, so that is punched out now. Let's follow the bottom. Oh, goodness. And speaking of kits, like I said, we are in May now. So we'll have new kits being released on Tuesday. So just a little bit of a wait yet, but exciting that there will be some new ones heading our way. And this is a big month because starting Tuesday as well is the release of all of the new products in the annual catalog. So that is a very exciting time. As a demonstrator, we do have early access to quote-unquote pre-order. However, with the annual catalog, we don't get to order everything. There is a select pre-order for demonstrators. So it'll be nice for us as well. We'll be able to get our hands on some of the things that we've seen but haven't been able to order yet. Okay, and then this last sheet is white. You did notice that I was punching everything out as I was going. However, when I need to stamp things, I like to stamp it while it's still on the carrier sheet so I can kind of move it around some. And then we also have our stamps. So this is the Inked Occasion stamp artwork. So thinking of you, congratulations, hugs. You are amazing. I'm here for you. Sending my love. On your retirement and to the happy couple. Wow, these are some really great sentiments. Some ones that are not typical, like the retirement one. And obviously to the happy couple, that's nice for a wedding. And then we have a couple little butterfly motifs as well. So Mary and Susan, yes, Chris must have been kind of talking a little bit about the upcoming incentive trip, which, you guys... I am in an absolutely crazy month. Like, I have had something, I'm about halfway through, if not maybe a little more. I have had something going on every single weekend and plenty of things going on during the day as well. And not to mention gearing towards the end of my first year of teaching. So, like, just the end of the school rush has been kind of killing me. Like, not in a bad way, but I am ready for summer like you wouldn't believe. So anyways, yes, in about a week and a half, maybe not even quite, we are heading to Disney for the incentive trip. And oh my gosh, I'm not wearing Winnie the Pooh on a live for like the first time in probably like 3 months. I'm actually wearing my Be Happy Stamper shirt because I had to take a selfie with the catalog because I was delinquent. For those of you on the Be Happy Stampers, we are collecting photos of you kind of taking a selfie with the catalog, and I'm making a graphic for that. And the photos were due by yesterday, and I did not do it, so I was intentional in getting dressed this morning that I needed, well, You don't have to be wearing your yellow shirt, but I wanted to be wearing my yellow shirt. So anyways, but yes, usually I'm always wearing Winnie the Pooh because like that is my MO. But I am so excited. I've been a Disney fan my entire life. I've moreover been a Winnie the Pooh fan my whole entire life. So I'm so excited. I'm blessed to have this opportunity with Chris. And very much looking forward to that as kind of the end of the craziness. Though I'm not naive to know that as soon as I'm through that, I'm sure there's more craziness ahead. But either way. So anyways, we also have, let's see what we got. So the kit contains supplies for 9 cards and 9 envelopes. We have 3 each of 3 different designs. And here are our coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors. We have Berry Burst, Flirty Flamingo, Fresh Freesia, Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Peach Pie, Pool Party, and Gold. And because of how the colors like blend in and all that, you could argue that there are a bunch of other colors in there as well. So I am going to quick grab my stamp pad and then I'll get going on getting these cards made. Okay, so Berry Burst, and I brought my own block. I kind of mention this all the time, but we'll give the little ditty right now. Every paper pumpkin comes with a Stampin' Spot. It is guaranteed that your Stampin' Spot will not repeat in a 12-month time period, which is absolutely great. Great way to build up your colors. Great way to kind of expand your collection. And they're included for free, so it's not like you are spending any additional money to get your color collection. But because I have access to all of the stamps, stamp pads and all of the colors, I do like to bring in the foam stamp pad because I personally like how they stamp better. And it's a little bit bigger of a stamping surface, and I also bring in my own black as well. But do not dismay if you are a newer stamper or don't have all of the colors. That is totally not an issue. Every month you get everything you need to create your cards. Yes, Sean, we are very much looking forward to summer. Oh, goodness. All right, so I am starting by stamping all of the sentiments. Now, on our kit class, I would go through and create all of the cards with you. However, with Paper Pumpkin, I do just make one of each of the cards because of time constraints, also because at the end of class I do try to make an alternative. Like I said, I have aftercare today, so I'm not quite positive if I will have time for that or not, but that is the goal. But I am going to stamp all of these while I'm at it because it's not going to take any extra. All right, then we'll clean off our stamp and move on to the next one. So thinking of you, I see congratulations, you are amazing, and hugs, I'm here for you. So I'm not quite sure if all of these banners, they're not the same. We have several of them have rounded edges. Okay, so congratulations is the other swirly girly. Hello, Karen, and yes, all the ladies and Sean. So for those of you that didn't catch on, Sean is my little special someone. Him and I just got back. One of the crazy things we had going on. And like I said, not crazy in a bad way, just crazy in a busy way. We just got back from a little Door County little trip this past weekend. I love Door County. It is one of my favorite places on earth, and blessed that it is just, it's about 2.5, 3 miles, depends on, or 2.5 or 3 hours, depends on how far north you go from here, which is just the right amount. Got to do a lot of really fun things. Went to a lot of my favorite places, and then tried a couple new things as well this time. I have done a fish boil before, but this time we went to a place I had never been for a fish boil, and it was so good. And we're just finally starting to feel the effects of spring here. So it was a little chilly, but it was nice to get there before the massive crowds took over. Door County is definitely a touristy spot here in Wisconsin, so it can get quite crowded and crazy. All right, so we have all of those stamped. Now I am going to, the Hugs I'm Here For You is the one with the rounded edges. So we'll do that one next. Okay. Just gonna knock out all the stamping right away in hopes that that keeps us efficient here. Got some ink on my fingers, so now I need to be careful. All right, and then last we have the You Are Amazing is on the banner that doesn't have, oh thank you, the banner that does not have the rounded edges. Now, there are a ton of different options. For the thinking of you and congratulations, you really have to go with those stamps because they are literally die cut around all of the edges. However, for the Hugs, you could use a different subtext, and for the congratulations, you also could use a different subtext. But I'm just going to make them all per the instructions. All right. So there you go. That is all of the stamping. Clean up and put our stuff away so that we don't make a mess, and then we can move on to making some cards. Okay, well, I'm not going to punch those out quite yet. I want it to marinate for a little bit. Okay, so the first card is our Hugs card. We are going to be taking the Vibrant card with the kind of quote-unquote hole in the middle, and we are going to be building it up from there. So let's fold it in half on the score line using our bone folder. Get a nice crease fold. And then I'm hoping that, oh man, you guys, we're not done stamping. Bring in your little butterflies. So anyways, I was hoping that the Hugs is gonna cover that. I think it will, but either way, now I'm going to be putting some butterflies in there as well. So put the single butterfly here-ish, and then the double butterfly here-ish. And I also don't know that there's necessarily a rhyme or a reason for exactly where that needs to go. But again, while I'm at it and I have all the stamping stuff out, I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp the little butterflies on all of them. Berry Burst is such a beautiful color. Okay, that's the whereabouts of that. Okay, we have butterflies on all of them, so I'm putting that to the side. Okay, bringing one card base back in frame. I'm telling you, I know they look pretty, but man, the vibrancy of these colors in person it's like, you can't describe it. It's beautiful. Okay, so then we are going to grab our mini dimensionals. I'm just going to see if I have any to use up. I don't, I just have the big ones. So I will grab the ones that came in the kit. All right, so we need our hugs, and we need one of the I'm Here For You. So I've said this before, but if you're new here, if you want your kit cards to look a little more polished, or you know, you can always add things to them, like ribbons and embellishments. But one other thing that I like to do to the cards that come in a kit is, like, when you punch things out, they have these little, like, okay, all I can come up with is paper nipple. Like, just a small little fray where it was attached to the carrier sheet. And if you just take a second to trim those off, your cards are gonna look much more original, less like they came out of a kit. Okay, so grab your mini dimensionals, the ones that came in the kit, and we are going to be putting dimensionals in several places. So their suggestion is in the middle of the G and at the base of the H, and then we're going to cut one in half. Oh shoot. To go at the top of the H and the curve of the S, and then we want 2 on the back of the I'm Here For You. Okay, so we'll put them here and here. Peel off all the backings. And the hugs will go down first. Very swoopy font. So it's hard to know whether you're putting it straight or not, but do your best. Get the cat hair out of the way. And then the I'm Here For You is going to go over the descender of the G and the S. Okay, so I'm going to be a little picky here. First of all, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that this G doesn't have anything behind it, so I'm going to move my dimensional on the back as far to the left as possible. I'll explain why in just a minute. And then I'm also going to take another dimensional, cut it in half, and then bump up this G some, because I don't like that. Now, it would be my suggestion that when you are making your cards, if you agree with me on this, you do this before you stick it down, but can't always win. So, now we'll stick this down. Okay. So basically, where I had the dimensional was kind of right behind the eye, and it would have pushed the center of the G down flat on the card, and I don't like how that looks. I think if Hugs is going to be on dimensionals, the whole thing should be lifted up. Now, there are a couple other spots, obviously, where there aren't supports behind, but especially where this had a dimensional behind it and would have stuck to the G rather than to the base of the card, I think that would have looked really silly. So that's why I did that. And here is your first card. Beautiful. Go ahead and clean up. Hello, Marcia. Thank you so much for joining us. We just finished our first card. We have 2 to go, and then, of course, an alternative. Okay, so card number 2 is going to be, ooh, this is going to be more of the pastel-y one. Okay, so we are going to fold the card base in half and burnish it, and then we are also going to stamp some more butterflies. Okay. This is going to be a little more arbitrary, but still in hopes that we place them well enough that we can see them. So the first one, I'm just going to roughly guess where the butterflies go. That's dangerous. The next ones, I'm going to be a little more strategic. Hey, I didn't do half bad. So we're going to lay this down just to give us a guide as to where you want your butterflies to go. Ah! This is a lot harder than it looks. We'll leave that one front and center. Okay, then we've got a ton of dimensionals on the back of this one. So we are going to be putting 4 dimensionals along the base. Then we will come back and put a dimensional in each of these flower heads. So this is where it gets a little challenging because this is a very fine die cut or laser image, and there's not an abundance of room to put a full dimensional on the back. The last space is going to be here. I don't feel overly confident that that's enough dimensional, especially there's a lot of real estate here that has nothing behind it, but with how thin this is, there really are not many options on where to put all of these dimensionals. So we're gonna go with it. We'll see how we feel when it's all put together. Okay, so flip it over, stick it down, doing the best you can to get it exactly where it needs to be. Which, like I said, is way harder than it looks. Sheesh. Okay, then we're putting the thinking of you over here also with dimensionals. Yeah, I have a hot mess going on, guys. I need to take a sec. We're gonna do just a minor little mid-show cleanup. Hugs can go. Okay. All right, try this again. We are putting 3 dimensionals behind the thinking of you. And that is going to get placed right down in the bottom right hand corner. So that finishes off card number 2. And last but certainly not least, in my opinion, this is the number 1 stunner. We're bringing in this card base that has all the colors and gold. Gorgeous. I'm a big fan of gold. Always have been. I inherited some rings from my grandma after she passed away. And I feel like I've always had more of like a vintage eclectic flair. But that really kick-started things. I had 3 gold rings that I wore on this hand. Then when I had a wedding ring, it was gold, and now I have this ring that is gold. Gold is so pretty. Okay, we are bringing our butterflies back in. We are going to stamp the doubler down in the orangey yellow area. Then we're going to flip it around and put the single up in this pinkish spot. Now I'm finally going to take the opportunity to clean those butterflies off because they are getting quite inky. Whee! Berry Burst is such a beautiful color. All right, pull that off to the side. Take a hot second to put the stamps away, otherwise you lose them. I've done that before. It's not fun. Okay. All right, this we need gold foliage, and congratulations, and you are amazing. All right, again, I'm just going to take a second to cut these little schniblets off. Okay. Then we are putting one solo dimensional behind the gold foliage and placing it relatively in this vicinity. So the gold foliage has, let's see, where did I put the ones I'm not using? So if you look at this, the gold foliage has, like, I'm going to call this the top, where there's just two smaller leaves, and then the bottom, where there's two larger leaves. So we're going to be turning it at this angle, one dimensional behind this, and then this is going to get placed right here, so kind of just hanging off of this nice gold and kind of cupped into this gold. So that's where we're hanging. Then we are going to put 3 dimensionals behind the congratulations and 2 behind the you are amazing. Okay, so again, when I was talking about how I like things to kind of be on the same level, so I put the dimensionals roughly in equal thirds, so like one right in the middle and one and the front and the back. And then to set it on top of this, which is held up by a dimensional, kind of just hovered that circle right in between these 2 dimensionals so that I didn't have part of this popping up and continuing to curve up. To do the same for the you are amazing, that's going to be a little tougher. So I'm going to try to keep the dimensionals pretty far to the edges in hopes that I'm not going to catch any of this gold. So I'll put it roughly there and call that a winner. So here are our 3 completed cards from the April 2025 Paper Pumpkin Inked Occasions. And now we are left with the chore of creating an alternative. Now, my brain has been playing with some ideas. I had an interesting interpretation of this right off the start. So I always end up, not always, I usually end up slicing and dicing the envelopes because I think there's a higher purpose for something like this. So that would, of course, be an option. But then I got the card fronts out, or the card bases out, I should say, and there is insane potential on the backs of each of these cards. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting, and this is just me verbalizing my thoughts. The graphic was just duplicated. So I would have preferred to see that this would just continue to flow front to back, but it seems very odd to me that it just was like, here's the front, we're gonna flip it over and put it on the back. So for that reason, I'm especially drawn to wanting to take these cards and cut them in half. The only one that doesn't bother me is this one, because it is completely just like, actually this one is not flipped. You can see that the pattern continues. Yeah, it does not look like it's... either way, it's so close that, like, this doesn't bother me. Also, I personally am not super... Well, I'm not super into pastels, and I'm also not super into green, so this doesn't speak to me. These, however, yeah, I'm all about that. So I'm going to go ahead and slice these apart. What you might be thinking is, oh, good gracious, well, now what are you going to do with them? Well, I'm just going to take a piece of thick basic white and mount them on as if they were just a card front. So that's what I'm going to do with them. So here's the thick white. And I don't know if I'm going to need two or not, because I'm not quite sure what my alternative is going to be yet. I do know, however, that I need to salvage the cards that I'm stealing from. So we are going to score at 5.5 on the 11-inch side. No, we're not. We're going to cut. So part of me was thinking it would be a cool interpretation to make this a top opening card, but then the other one would be a side opening card. And you know what? I think that's what we're going to do, because that's what I scored. Granted, I could have cut it, but you know what? It was my initial idea anyways, so just do it. They're unique. One of one. Also, I just cut that real poorly. Is this crooked? What do we got going on here? Okay, so. Ooh, thick basic white is just so nice. Yeah, I definitely diced these up a little bit. So this is an absolutely unnecessary step other fan, I had my paper pulled crooked. So don't mind me as I clean up the mess I made. While I have the mini guillotine out, I'm also going to cut right down the spine of my cards. Chris heard that I was butchering cards and now she's here to supervise. Just kidding.
Have you had any kittens supervise?
No, no kittens.
They supervised me.
I think they're scared of me.
Maybe, but I don't
They
know.
may be.
Oy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of packed. Now I just have to do some shipments.
That's good.
That is good.
Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and adhere these bad boys. Some good old liquid glue. 10 out of 10, my favorite adhesive.
Kitten, you're so cute.
So I like when I do something like this, I like not even messing with the original intention of the card, as in I'm not going to mat it, I'm not going to trim it down, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on a card base. Boom, card. All right, same with this one. You know, as I'm doing this, I also don't mind the unique open. So when a card is simple, I'm not necessarily saying that these cards are simple. There are a lot of great elements to it, especially with the gold leafing and all of that. Chris, Karen is proofing the PDF now.
Tell her thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, so by not matting this or changing it, I really am just keeping the exact intention of the card, just salvaging these two pieces of what I call DSP, but I know they're not DSP, but in essence, I'm going to be using them as DSP. But when you have a more simple design, as in, there aren't a ton of layers, there's not embellishments or ribbon, the little things matter oh so much more. So even the small idea of changing this to a card that opens like this completely changes some of the wow factor. Same with this card, where now it is unsuspecting that it would open this way, but it does. Just give it a little extra something. So completely unintentional, because like I said, I'm just kind of salvaging the DSP off of it. But when you're designing cards, those are some of the things that you think of as well. So boom, there you go. It's like nothing ever happened. Now we have these two beautiful pieces and nothing to do with them. Because we pulled them off of the kit, and because of the unique way in which this kit was designed, there are no extra pieces. Like the hugs and the extra die cut pieces, they don't exist. There aren't any extras for us to use, but we can now take these pieces and reinvent them into something different. I don't yet know what that's gonna look like. Let's kind of dive into this together. I don't have enough room. That never happens, you know? Oops. Oops. I guess
when
so.
we're live. We need to disable it off
The
of
ability for that
off
to
of the
happen?
tablet, because Carissa called me last week and I hit it. So yeah, we're back. I think
Yeah.
You're
so
back.
what does that mean though? The red on the live.
it says it's recording, live plus recording.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna
Well,
call Tammy
either way.
on the landline or like the cell phone.
Okay, so hi friends, we're back. So yeah, I don't exactly know where this is going, but when I try to do alternatives, well, here's the long story. Paper Pumpkin has come quite a ways over the years. And at first, sometimes the kits were what I'd call a miss. And the thing with Paper Pumpkin is you don't know what you're getting ahead of time. Over the years, yes, they absolutely have given more clues. They have given you a real good sneak peek into what you're getting. Like, we knew that this was going to have bright, vivacious colors and be alcohol ink and all of that we knew. We did not know what the exact cards looked like. And to be honest, I'm not positive if we knew that it was going to be cards. But either way, we knew that it was going to be something like this. Well, in the past, it wasn't always so much like that. So I began creating alternatives because sometimes the kits just either weren't very universal, and some people really loved them, but others really didn't, or just didn't fit your fancy. So when you get a Paper Pumpkin kit, ooh, the embossing folder that cuts out sentiments would be pretty with this. You are so right. I agree with that. If I can flag Chris down, I might ask her where that is, because that would be an absolutely wonderful way to just kind of finish these up. But the other thing is, I like to get a lot of quote unquote bang for your buck. And when I see elements that are just like low-hanging fruit or easy ways to extend these kits to be more, I like to explore that idea as well. So that's kind of the thought behind some of this. This kit, in my opinion, is probably going to be very well received. So I don't necessarily foresee someone having received this and been like, ooh, man, this is not at all what I expected. I really don't like it, especially because of the spoilers that were given this time. But either way, I don't think that that's going to be how this kit goes over. So, that being said, I do have a little bit of an idea now that I've kind of talked through this a little bit. About one way, and this is going to 100% be a shot in the dark. Like, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. Because basically we're going to be making 3 of these cards. So we're going to have 3 cards that look just like this. Whether you open it sideways or up and down, doesn't matter. You're going to have 3 of these. And if you follow what I'm doing, you'll have 3 pieces of this. Now, you easily could stamp thinking of you or congratulations or anything like that in there. You also could order the coordinating die set, which has a die cut hugs. I don't anticipate that being very large though, whereas like this hugs, that's pretty big. That fills that in very nicely. The other thing about this that is very nice is the fact that it's gold foil, which yes, you could cut that out of gold foil, but again, I think that would be really small in there. So I'm going to just completely dice this up and pray that I don't regret it. So I'm going to start by cutting right down the middle in the white space. And I'm going to bring back an old school technique of ripping. And yes, this alcohol has its own defined edge, but I'm going to try to tear along the alcohol edge on both of these pieces. Bear with me, this might not go as planned. So there's one of them. I could go a little higher into the purple. We'll see if I need or want to do that. Okay, and then on this piece, now I do feel like tearing has started to come back. But for those of you that are unfamiliar with tearing or don't love it as much as I do, there are two different ways to tear paper. You can tear forward, like towards you, or tear away from you. When you tear towards you, you get this beautiful, in this case, white edge, but if you were taking a piece of colored cardstock, it would just be like a torn edge. Whereas if you're tearing away from you, you get that torn edge just on the edge. You just don't have the layers of paper also that come. It is completely your choice. It doesn't matter. There's not a right or wrong. Just explaining that those are the difference. And I almost exclusively tear towards me because I like that layered look. Okay, so here are my pieces. I'm somewhat envisioning going like this, putting it right through the middle, and then putting probably some ribbon and a sentiment going straight through the middle. So that's what I'm envisioning. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it yet, but that's what I'm working towards. In this, we have Berry Burst, Flirty Flamingo, Fresh Freesia. I mean, I can see some of the Fresh Freesia, but I wouldn't be bringing that in. Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. Of course, there's Peach Pie as well, but that's also not a color that I think I'd be bringing in at this point. The next thing I need to and want to decide... Okay, so I think I just made that decision. I want this to be the top and this to be the bottom. Is if I want this on basic white, which I think I do. And then if I want to do anything to the background. And then what color strip I want going through it. Although I think the strip that I want going through it is going to be ribbon. Hold tight for a second while I go gather some supplies.
Okay, and I'm not here. So I'm trying to go through it now before I leave. So hang on. Hang on. Okay, I'm gonna send you one more picture. Hang on, one more picture here. Okay, do you see, is there one more picture?
Okay, I need to flag Chris down to grab some white ribbon because I don't see any white ribbon, and that is definitely what I'm going to need for this card, is some white ribbon. I also think I'm going to do Thinking of You, and I think, so I kind of, I don't want to say lied. There is going to be one extra of each of these because they usually give you one extra in case you stamp poorly. And I am going to use it for one reason, because you can recreate this. Yes, you would be fussy cutting, but it is totally possible. Whereas the hugs, I'm not, well, I don't have an extra, but I also wouldn't be using that because I cannot create textured gold foil. I cannot recreate the hugs that is that large. So I'm going to, I would not, build that into an alternative design, because if I did, it'd be taking it away from one of the cards that we would have in the kit. So I did grab an additional thick white, so I'm going to just go ahead and make the cut and commit to it. So, again, we are going to score at 5.5. And cut at 4.25. This time I'm going to try to cut it straight. Oh, I'm feeling a little stressed because I'm not positive if I want to keep this like just on a flat white or if I want to maybe sponge. I feel like I don't want to sponge, not necessarily even sponge, but use the blending brushes to get some color in the back, but I feel like, okay, white space is not a bad thing. Let's do that. I'm gonna tape these two together so they stop flooshing apart, because they will be together, at least in what I'm building in my brain. Okay.
There is nothing in the stamp that has a garden green mat that you're cutting over.
Man, I am loving this so far. Ooh, another thing I want to do. Okay. One thing I love to do is, ooh, okay. All right, here's some thought bubbles. I love splattering. So I am going to create a safe space where I can make a big mess. Which is like way harder to do than it should be. But basically, wherever you splatter, we have learned, it doesn't really go away. Like even on the glass mat. Let's do this. Let's do this. And I've got, I don't know if it's me, but someone has gotten some splatter against the back wall. So you just want to protect your surface. So I want to take some Stella. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool, and then I'm just going to throw some Stella down. Hello, Melanie. Thank you for joining. And then I think what I'm going to do is, so I like the thought of the base layer being plain white, but I also like the thought of it having just a little something, in which case I'm going to splatter some Stella with some Berry Burst ink on it. I might not like it, but I hope I do. Okay. You never know when to cut, but I think just a little bit more up in that corner. The only problem with splattering is you're really not in control of where things go. So you can see I got a lot everywhere. I was just really trying to capitalize on that corner. All right, so here goes nothing. I'm gonna bring in my card base. Of course, again, you can't control where things go, but I ultimately just need in those areas. I'm just giving it one last look before I make the final call. Here's the thing. If I don't love it, it's a learning opportunity. I'm scared, okay? All right, go ahead, get some ink. Are you free?
I am.
Can you get me some white ribbon? I don't care what it is, just white ribbon.
How big a piece do you need?
Um,
Can it be 3 inches?
no. Sorry.
There's this right here.
Yep, needs more than that.
Can you cut it in half? And then...
I was gonna do a double layer over the seam.
Okay. Do you want this ribbon or do you want the 1/2 inch white?
Whatever you have or
No,
want.
I gotta go upstairs to get either one of them. Whoa, Stella just dribbled.
Yeah, she did.
Do you want the thick white one or the more like this one? The other one's a 1/2 inch woven.
I think I like that one.
Okay.
If I get the choice.
Yeah, well, either way.
We're putting our steps on.
Yeah.
All right, so then clean up your space. And then do a little more because you just never know when to stop. Okay. All right, when you pick up color with your Stella, I like to make sure to get all of that color out of the bristles because you just don't know what you need or want to use your tools for next. And you don't want to sacrifice by having done a poor job of picking up.
And if there's a way to utilize it in your project, to
Yes.
get it on your project.
Yes, you can
versus
wait
cutting
and
it up, that's always good too.
you can wait till the end in case, you know, you have another place where you might want to use it that at this point you don't know about. So then it's not wasted. All right, so here's the moment of truth, whether we liked that or not. So let's move these things out of the way. Okay, so, oh, here's fun. You can see it. This is the after. This is the before. And personally, I do like the after, which is good because that's what we have. This is a really silly thing. I wasn't going to call it out. It's probably something that I see and maybe not everyone else sees, or maybe you do see. But the color tone on this white has, in my opinion, more of a blue undertone, whereas the basic white has more of a yellow undertone. So I was not liking how the white of this clashed with the white of that. So I was kind of trying to find a way to distract from that, and that's what all the spritziness was about. So there you have it. Okay, I am going to clean that off because it does just keep rubbing into everything we're doing. The next question is, are we putting this up on dimensionals? Which, you know what? Why not? So let's flip that bad boy over. I'm not going to put any dimensionals towards the middle because we have some ribbon on its way. I don't want to interfere with what we got going on there. And then, where did my Nikes? Thinking of you, got swept off to the side. That is also going to go on dimensionals. Ooh, she's sparkly. I like that. Man, Stella just is so beautiful. I love it. I think I would like a little thicker, not thicker of a ribbon, just thicker of a presence from the ribbon. So, Chris is going to be bringing that down in just a second. And in the meantime, I don't know. I was wondering if I should make an alternative on this card as well. Need to bring my inspiration back. That needs to be trimmed down just a smidge.
I believe that all of this is current.
Wow! There's white options. Oh, I love it.
So much white options.
No, I love it. Well, and the awesome thing about white as well is that you can color it with your blends and you can make it anything you want. Though, that being said, for this, I really do actually want white. But always an option.
I think I know which one I would pick.
Well, is it this one?
No, I actually would pick that one because it's got a sheen to it. It's
That is nice.
the diagonal. But you can even fold that one in half, too. The one that you got right now. You could take it to make it thicker. You could go like this, right? And have two of the...
Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
And double it up.
Wow, so many options, people. Man. Oh, this is nice and soft. The sheeny one that you like is nice and soft.
It's part of a two-pack.
Oh, yes, it is, with a petal pink. So, regardless, the goal here is to cover the seam. So, basically, we're just using the ribbon. Now, I do like this, but I don't like how it's competing with the tearing. So, that's for sure out. It's nice and soft, too, though. Okay, and I don't think we would want... So, Stella has a little bit of a silver tone to it. I mean, because it's got the silver glitter, whereas this is iridescence. So that one's also going to self-eliminate.
I knew it would.
Would have you been disappointed if I chose it?
No. But I'm glad you talked yourself through my seam ration.
Mm-hmm. So let's see here on this one. My initial thought was to do this and this. I'm going to use a temporary piece of tape so that I can visualize it. This color scheme is just spot on. I'm also envisioning a little bit of coming off of it. Maybe I don't need that. Maybe I don't. Wow, so many viable options. Okay. We're gonna pick one and go. That's what we're gonna do. And I think this is gonna be the one I go with. And of course, the baker's twine is always a good option as well. We're going to give this one a fighting chance, and we can always change our mind. So, grab our tear-in tape. Oh, Nikes. Turn that a little crooked. Good thing it's on the back. Fortunately, it should be nice and easy to keep it straight because we have the seam line that we can just align it with. Okay, putting all of our visuals together. I think I'm going to take my fingers are glittery from the Stella. I love it. Okay, I'm going to make a rat's nest. Do that. I prematurely put down the dimensionals, but we can work with that. Going to manually space these apart just a little bit, just so that they're not all right on top of each other. Then I'm going to put down one more dimensional. And we are going to place this guy right there. Flip this over, add a couple additional dimensionals so we don't get a saggy center. Take all the dimensional backs off of that guy. Okay, my objective here is to keep the things to the bottom more. So that's why I kept the ribbon to the bottom part of the seam. I put the focal image all the way to the bottom. Okay, I see here I need a little more sticky behind the ribbon. This is gonna take an act of Congress.
Does that mean it's not gonna happen?
Means it's gonna take some finagling.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Okay, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. No Congress needed. Okay, boom. I'm going to call that an alternative. But I did start fiddling with the other card base that I sacrificed. So let's see what we can come up with from that, because I do have just a smidgen of time. And I wouldn't want to leave you, like, just dying for more. So, there we have... Wow, they are not the same. I mean, they are the same. They once were one card, but... There's our alternative. Okay, we'll scooch him off to the side. And we'll see what beautiful things we have in store for this one. Okay, so I am probably again going to pull the congratulations, the extra congratulations. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining, Stephanie. Yes, it is bedtime for you, or getting to be.
She had the day off, though.
Ah.
Isn't she from Germany?
Yeah, so it's 20:52. So what's
yeah,
that,
she
8?
had the day off
Almost
of work
9?
today.
Well, you got your money's worth off for your day off.
She got lots of cooking done and cleaning
Cooking
done.
and cleaning. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we
A little
had
bit jelly. I mean, can she
2
come over
lives
by
today,
me
right?
and do my
Well,
cooking and
that's
cleaning?
quite the commute.
I know, right? I'd provide a bed to sleep in.
In the green room.
Do you need dimensionals, or can I take these?
You can take them.
Are you sure?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm being an overachiever and bringing things to work on that I know I'm never going to have time to work on, but I'm bringing them anyways. Because you gotta take things to
Well,
work on.
you're not gonna do it if you don't have it.
Oh, but exactly, but if I have it, then at least I can say I can work on it.
Yep. All right. So this alternative may not be much of an alternative at all, other than just a way to get a couple extra cards out of your kit. So again, this congratulations, I did just quote unquote steal from the extras from the kit. But the only reason I'm doing that is because you could recreate this just by stamping it and giving it a little bit of fussy cutting. Also, I may just convince myself out of using it. We'll see. I'm thinking ribbon because, you know, our paper pumpkin did not include ribbon, so
No sad face.
I'll probably...
The thing I heard about that is like paper pumpkins either have gems or they have ribbon. They don't have both. So did you get
Or
gems?
neither.
Or neither?
No,
Was there some
there's-
other accent? Is
There's
the
a lot
gold
of foil.
ephemera things.
There's
that's
been,
what
yeah,
they're
there's
counting.
been a lot of ephemera things
That's what
in-
they're counting then.
in paper pumpkins of yore.
Of the times.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking these with me too. So you don't need them.
Don't have too much fun.
Oh, I just working on swap cards.
Swap
I
cards.
don't know when, but maybe I can solicit people to help me. Swap
Oh.
cards.
What you're hearing is don't travel with Chris. As I'm just about to travel with Chris. Oh, goodness.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
So I've been seeing some cards recently on the cards that I've photographed that have this little foldy, like a partial lamb technique on the bottom. And so I think that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to do a little foldy. See what we think. One more. Oh, yeah, we think we like that. Oh goodness, that's a winner right there. So let's cut it on a nice edge. That's beautiful. Okay, finish up the holy man! Yeah, you're right. This midday is hitting you pretty well in your German time zone compared to the evening classes. Sheesh. I feel like I somehow, just by reading that, lost a lot of time because I'm envisioning having to go pick up the boys from school and do aftercare and supper and homework and all that good stuff. And I'm thinking, man, it's like 9 o'clock already? By 9 o'clock, I hope I'm... Mom, I'm going to be calling Chris.
No, you're becoming me.
I will not be snuggling up into bed.
You can be.
Nah.
It's on the phone.
Yeah. Okay, so then we are going to put a little bit of additional dimension. Oh, look at that. That was meant to go there. Okay, so this is going to go there-ish. Oh, man, that's pretty. Okay, so here we don't have the gold leaf foil, but when you look at this card base that we're using, there is already gold foil in it, so that's really nice. Now, let's look through our embellishments and see what we can add to the mix. Looking for something that has a little bit of goldy in it. So this is pink with gold, which, I mean, is not a terrible hit. Keep perusing. Man. Tuning in from France, we have our international audience today. All right, well, I'm not finding much gold, so we're going to go back to this one.
What do you kind of gold you got?
I don't know. I have Regal.
Wait.
This is probably not current, though.
I got lots of gold here.
Lots of gold.
One moment, please. One moment in time.
Oh my goodness, I remember making this. That's fun. This was one of my favorite DSPs. I just accidentally grabbed it with the, Holy man! Asking you shall receive.
So it never made it to the cases.
That's okay.
It sits in the middle. Jenny Parker, I'm gonna be seeing her, so I can take her prize.
Oh, we have some gold leaves.
Yeah, there's gold leaves. I don't know if they're current or not anymore, but
That's okay.
they're part of the holiday or the autumn thing.
Ooh la la. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. Okay. This might be the winner. All right. Well, let's knock some of these out and see what we think of this. Okay, so I was thinking, as opposed to, like, I don't want it centered, but I'm thinking somewhere in this vicinity, which ironically is quite close to where we had the other one located. Ooh, Chris, do we have any matte gold accent beads? Does that mean anything to you?
No. Matte gold accent beads. What is an accent bead? That is Stampin' Up or not?
Matte gold accent beads. I would love to see those on there.
Ask her, like, for...
Stephanie,
like,
if you
any
could
item
have
number.
any clarification, if it is a Stampin' Up product,
Tell her to text me a
what
picture.
either text Chris a picture or even an item number, so we can be on the same page, and then we can see what we can do. Okay, put just a smidgen of a dimensional in the corner over here. Work got in the way. Oh, yes. Yes, Stephanie, you are correct. Gotta work to to get the supplies. Okay, let's put that somewhere in here-ish. Okay.
Is that person like in the US or
No, it's, she's your friend from Germany.
was Stephanie was saying that?
Yep.
Okay, well then she should maybe Facebook Messenger me. But I don't know if that'll work.
So, let's move these to the side. Matte gold half beads. No idea what Stampin' Up! Might be. Yeah, I don't know that we have anything
doesn't sound
quite
really
like
good.
that.
I don't buy a lot of non-Stampin' Up! Stuff. I don't have time to go shopping really.
Chris says, sorry, I'm choking over my over-exaggerated laugh. Chris says she doesn't have any time to go shopping. She doesn't have much of anything that she can't order from Stampin' Up!, which I understand
I
that.
don't leave my house to go shopping anywhere.
So, let's see. I'm not disagreeing. I do think matte things might look very nice on here. But we are going to use these and okay, so now I can't remember if I liked the yellowish ones. I think I did. Oopsies. All right, here's me struggling by randomly placing things. I always say that I struggle with them. Let's put, so we start with 3, then we decide if we need 5, and we rarely need 7. It's happened before.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, you know, you're just hitting a real good stride and just can't stop. So my birthday is in October, so my birthstone is the opal, and Stampin' Up! Has had some real great opalescent things of recent, and these have some opalescent shine in them. Man, they're calling for me. I think I'm going to move that one. We'll settle with 5. That seems like a, you know, reasonable amount. Not too much overkill. But, so basically, you know, they are very much the same because they have a lot of the same components. But because we're just trying to get some extra mileage out of our kit, and because we do have the disposal of having some supplies on hand, bring in a little bit of ribbon, a little bit of embellishments, and you can create another beautiful card just out of the back of that awesome paper pumpkin kit. So let's put that on a card base because, you know, that's important. We're not making postcards here. Pretty sure dimensionals, embellishments, and ribbon don't qualify under the postcard ideology. Oh, yeah. No, Stephanie, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's get that stuck down. And then I will bring all of the cards back in. Where did I lose the third card?
There's a kitten.
There's always a kitten.
Yeah, I pull it at sharing a hunky noodle.
Okay, so here are our Paper Pumpkin April 2025 ink occasions. We have our 3 core cards over here, and then our alternative cards just hanging out on the side. Ooh, your birthstone's the emerald. Oh my goodness. Still a couple of days to send me a birthday card. When's your birthday, Stephanie? Very exciting. Emerald is a beautiful gemstone. All right, so what do we think? Do we have a favorite card? What do we think of the alternative? Have you been inspired? And also, are you a subscriber? We always like to keep up with our subscribers. And I'm always curious if the Paper Pumpkin subscribers just create the kit as is, or if they go ahead and do any of the alternative ideas. 6th of May, that's our grandma's birthday as well. Grandma's turning 97 this year. Good gracious. Got a couple years to go before I reach that milestone.
She's waiting for 100.
Yeah. Chris and I visited her 2-3 weeks ago, and someone at the place that she's staying was celebrating their 100th birthday, and that's crazy. That's Chris and I and another one of me combined almost. Mm-hmm. Okay, not quite, but
yeah, another one, two of you and me.
That's crazy. Really, really, really love these cards. That is awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm telling you. So, like, I watch the feed along so that I can see to make sure that we're not having buffering issues. I can see the comments and all. The cards do look quite true on the live stream. Sometimes, you know, they don't look exactly like what they look like to our eyes. But man, they are so pretty in person. So, that being said, I hope that you enjoyed today's Paper Pumpkin class. We do still have a couple of kits available, so if you are interested, all of the contact information is right on the screen in front of you. Always reach out if we can help you out. We will be more than happy to do so. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week, sending lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs your way.